Secret Invasion Episode 3 has now landed on Disney+. I watched it while I was on the plane, headed back home, because I was out of town for a couple of days. Sorry, guys, for the lack of videos. I wish I could have a scroll here doing what I do, but no green people to clap them cheeks. I mean, no green people around for miles. But Papa's back home now, and I've got some content catching up to do, so let's get to it here, talking about Episode 3. I gotta say, so far, really liking the show, okay? Episode 2 had me wondering, this could go either way. It could drag its feet, it can make me really just start to want the answers by the end, but I feel like they're keeping up a good pace. I really liked what Episode 3 brought us. I feel like the story is developing in a way that's fast enough. Of course, we're halfway through it now, but I feel like some big things are happening, and although I maybe would have been surprised by one possible fatality, if I didn't watch the trailers for Secret Invasion, I would have thought that was a real death. But okay, with Episode 3, some of the things that caught my eye that I definitely wanted to talk about here is I'm glad Nick Fury and his Skrull wife had a conversation about how long he has actually been out of the house and how maybe this has affected her. And it's not that far off from how Talos was affected from everything here. She said it. She's like, I didn't mind you being gone every now and then, but when you got dusted away, I really thought you were gone forever. I grieved your death. I was sad. And right when I was getting over you, your old fart butt came back in. And he still volunteered to be up in space away from her for a couple of more years. Like, man, Husband of the Year award is not going to be going to good old Nick Fury. I've been mentioning throughout these episodes of Secret Invasion, I really feel like Talos could be someone who ends up on the opposite side of Nick Fury. I'm believing that a little bit less and less as the episodes go on. Although I still think there are those moments where Talos is really not agreeing with Nick Fury's way. He wants to do as least damage to humankind and Skrull kind, and well, sometimes that doesn't end up happening. But it feels like instead of Talos ending up that way, his wife is ending up on the opposite side here, where she's like, look, I thought you died. I was basically over you. So then that you wanted to stay away with me after you've been gone for so long, I have no more loyalty towards you. I don't even want to be around you. So it definitely feels like that gun and who she's going to use it on is going to be Nick Fury. But there is something more interesting about this scene. We'll talk about it in a sec. When it comes to Gravik trying to sniff out who the betrayer is amongst his platoon, I love how the show is not dragging their feet with this, because I feel like this is easily something that could have been taken to the final episode or the second to final episode. Putting this plan in place that, yes, is part of his plan to get rid of humankind, just get us all to fight in a war against each other, end up killing us all before the Super Skrulls come in and just finish the job. I like the strategic move he pulled to try and find out who actually is betraying them and would give up the valuable information to stop the launch. Here's also where I definitely would have believed that they killed off Talos' daughter here if I hadn't already seen trailers of Secret Invasion that pretty much show sequences that have yet to happen. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to explain her surviving that, whether she's already been given the Super Skrull serum, which could allow her to heal and take blows like that, or it was just one of those lucky shots where it wounds her, but she's going to be able to survive that. Because getting onto the conversation of Super Skrulls here, this one intense scene between Talos and Gravik, I really enjoyed, and it was kind of like a battle of the minds of what should happen next. You know, Gravik had the whole room situated with Skrulls saying, you try anything, we're going to get you. But just one mention of Talos' daughter set him off, and stabbing him in the hand. That's some of the most disgusting stuff that has happened in the MCU. We don't get a lot of scenes like that, so when they happen, kind of savor those moments there, and we get to see Gravik's already taken a form of the Super Skrull serum. Whether he fully has all the powers that we saw listed in the previous episode, you know, bits of Groot to mimic Mr. Fantastic, the Bifrost giant that kind of is like Invisible Woman, Cole Obsidian skin that's gonna mimic the Thing, and then the Extremis formula that has that heat abilities like the Human Torch, and is also good for healing. I know there's been a lot of pushback with the MCU replacing the typical Skrull powers with these Fantastic Four knockoffs, but I feel like they could be building to something. I want to bring it back to a leaked photo that we had gotten way back that was supposed to be part of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Some of you guys might have seen this photo floating around. Heck, I remember when I first saw this leak and the possibility of it being real and part of an end credits scene to Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I thought it looked like Dr. Doom talking to Michael Myers, that I even photoshopped this photo just to be funny. Now, having watched Secret Invasion, I mean, that character talking to Dr. Doom looks a lot like Gravik. He's got the same sort of haircut, that collared shirt. We still have no idea why this post-credit scene was removed, but it could be a story point that the MCU eventually wants to come back to and tie the Super Skrulls back to the Fantastic Four. You know, Dr. Doom could easily enlist Gravik and his abilities and powers, grant asylum to the Skrulls to live in Latveria. In exchange, he gets a Super Skrull kind of massive army that would go up against the Fantastic Four. And you know, something like that could play out. Again, I'm just kind of guessing, really. But you gotta admit, now that we finally are getting the Fantastic Four on screen, and now we have Skrulls in the MCU, it would be a no-brainer to do a traditional Super Skrull with Fantastic Four powers against the Fantastic Four. But circling this back now to the end of the episode here, where it looks like Nick Fury's wife is getting a gun in preparation to possibly betray Nick Fury. Title doesn't just imply the betrayal of Gravik and what happened there, but the future betrayal that his wife will do to Nick Fury. A lot of people have been pointing out that the phone call that the wife takes at the end is very reminiscent to Rhodey's voice.
St. James Church, 1 hour.
I need to speak to Gravik.
Yeah, well, you're talking to me.
Only igniting further the theories that Rhodey is going to be revealed to be a Skrull. Now, look, I've said that could be a cool reveal. That could be interesting. To me, it would be about when did he get turned into a Skrull, okay? Because he's mentioned he's known about them. He's been aware of Skrulls all the way back to the 90s. If Rhodey's been a Skrull all this time in the MCU, I don't know if I'm going to love that. But if it got revealed, like, I don't know, a year or two before this show, he got Skrulled out, I'd be okay with that. I mean, we got Armor Wars coming up, and I'm really excited to see War Machine get his own movie and what they could do with that, and if they have to throw in a subplot explaining why Rhodey's a Skrull and whatnot, or where he's been for the past, I don't know, 2 decades, I don't know if I'd love that. To me, what it just definitely seems is like Gravik is just trying to take in Rhodey's place. And he was just in Rhodey form during the phone call, which would explain why he said he is Gravik. People have also pointed back the callback to where Nick Fury mentions that nobody calls him Nick. And if you go back to the scene where Rhodey and Nick Fury were talking to each other, he calls him Nick.
Everybody calls me Fury. Not Nicholas, not Joseph, not Nick. Just Fury.
What does your mom call you?
Fury?
What do you call her?
Fury.
What about your kids?
If I have them, they'll call me Fury.
You're cleared for access.
Thank you.
That's what this moment right here, right now is about, Nick.
So it looks like the show is making it as obvious as possible Rhodey is a green dude in disguise. But it's not really the reveal of who's a Skrull or not by the end. The reveal I want the most is who's going to be fighting these Super Skrulls, because it can't just be Nick Fury. That'll be so anticlimactic. Throw in War Machine in the suit or some other Avenger and have them fight a Super Skrull. I would love to see that. Whatever the case may be, I'm still really digging Secret Invasion. It sucks that I don't see a lot of buzz or people hyping it up each episode, but I feel like so far the pacing is on point. I love the villain. I like the story going on in here. You got 3 episodes left. Do not disappoint me, MCU. This is where I throw it off to you guys. How are you feeling about Secret Invasion episode 3 and any theories and predictions you might have? Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.